It always starts small. A mailbox dent here, a scratch there. At first I thought it was just bad luck. Maybe a distracted delivery truck. Maybe kids fooling around. But after the fourth time in 2 months, I knew someone was targeting my mailbox. I live in a quiet neighborhood. The kind of place where lawns are trimmed every Saturday and neighbors wave at each other while walking their dogs. Except for one Karen, the self-proclaimed queen of our HOA. She had a smile for the HOA board. But for people like me, she had only venom. It wasn't hard to figure out who was behind it. She'd sneer every time she passed my house. Her SUV was the exact height to leave those scrapes. And then came the day I saw it with my own eyes. I was sipping coffee on my porch, watching the sunrise, when I heard the roar of her engine. She swerved, not even pretending to miss, and crushed my mailbox flat with her bumper. Then she drove off like nothing happened. I stood there in disbelief. My wife, Martha, rushed outside. Again, she gasped, looking at the splintered wood. This time, I wasn't just angry. I was humiliated. The mailbox wasn't just metal and wood. It was a symbol of respect, of boundaries, and she had stomped all over it. I tried reasoning with her. The next day, I caught her while she was pruning her roses. "Karen, I saw you hit my mailbox yesterday," I said, my voice steady. She didn't even flinch. "Prove it," she said coldly, not looking up. "You know what you're doing? This has to stop." She smirked. "Maybe if you followed HOA rules and painted your fence the right shade of beige, your mailbox wouldn't keep having accidents." Her words cut deeper than the damage itself. She was using her HOA power to justify bullying. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying it in my head. Martha's worried eyes, Karen's smirk, the smashed mailbox. Something inside me snapped. Enough was enough. I whispered to Martha, "If she wants a war over a mailbox," she picked the wrong man. And that's when the plan began to form, a plan that would turn her cruelty against her. The next week, I drove into town and visited an old buddy of mine, Hank. Hank was a retired welder, grizzled and tough. The kind of man who could turn scrap metal into a fortress. I explained what Karen had been doing. Hank laughed so hard he slapped the table. "She keeps running it over." "Then give her something she can't run over." "What do you mean?" I asked. "I mean, we'll build you a mailbox so strong it could stop a tank." "She wants to play games?" "Let's play together." We built it. Steel reinforcement, a concrete core, and plates so thick it was practically bulletproof. We painted it black and silver, sleek but intimidating. By the time it was done, it looked like something out of a military base. It's not a suburban street. When I installed it the following Saturday, neighbors stopped by, curious. "Looks sturdy," old Mr. Jenkins chuckled. "Sturdy enough to teach a lesson," I muttered. Martha worried. "Honey, are you sure about this? What if it makes things worse?" I held her hand. "She's been laughing at us, humiliating us. I can't just let her keep winning. This isn't about a mailbox anymore. It's about respect." That evening, I sat on the porch, waiting. The sun dipped low, the streetlights flickered on. Then I heard the low growl of Karen's SUV. She always sped down the street like it was her racetrack. She swerved. Just like before, heading straight for my mailbox. Only this time, bang. The sound was deafening. Her SUV slammed into the bulletproof mailbox and came to a dead stop. The airbag deployed, smoke hissed from her engine, and the mailbox didn't even budge. It stood tall, unbroken, like a soldier on guard. I couldn't believe it. I actually laughed out loud. For the first time in months, the power shifted. Karen stumbled out of her car, clutching her nose. "What did you do?" "This is sabotage." She screamed. "It's called a mailbox," I said calmly. "Built to last," she raged. "I'll have the HOA fine you into bankruptcy." "Go ahead," I replied. "But maybe next time. We'll think twice before trying to destroy what isn't yours." The neighbors gathered, whispering, pointing. For once. They saw Karen not as the queen of the HOA, but as a fool who had been outsmarted. But what I didn't realize was that this war had only just begun. The very next morning, I received a letter. Not in the mailbox. She wouldn't dare go near it, but taped to my door. It was from the HOA board, signed by Karen herself. Violation. Installation of unapproved mailbox structure. Immediate removal required. Martha read it aloud, shaking her head. She won't stop until she destroys us. But I wasn't backing down. I went to the board meeting that week. Karen sat at the head of the table, smug and bandaged from the airbag burn. She cleared her throat. This resident has installed a dangerous and unsightly mailbox. It is a hazard to our community. I stood up. Hazard. The only hazard here is a board president who uses her power to harass neighbors. That mailbox wouldn't have hurt anyone if certain people didn't keep driving into it. Gasps echoed across the room. A few neighbors even nodded in agreement. For the first time, her grip was slipping, but she wouldn't let go. She launched complaint after complaint, fines, threats of lawsuits. Each envelope in the mail felt like a dagger. Martha cried some nights, asking, "Is it worth it? Maybe we should just move." But I refused to be bullied out of my home. I gathered evidence, documented every smashed mailbox, every smug comment, and when Karen tried to escalate things legally, I was ready. What neither of us expected, though, was how karma works in mysterious ways. A few weeks later, Karen's SUV was repossessed. Rumors spread quickly. Unpaid debts, HOA funds mismanaged, her empire crumbling. By the time the truth came out, she was forced to resign from the board. The neighborhood slowly returned to peace. Neighbors began to smile more, wave more, freed from her reign of intimidation. One evening, as I checked my mail safe and sound in my unbreakable box, I noticed Karen sitting alone on her porch. No SUV, no entourage of board members, just a lonely woman staring at the ground. To my own surprise, I felt a pang of pity. She had spent so much energy trying to break others that she'd broken herself. Martha touched my shoulder. "Are you feeling sorry for her?" I sighed. Maybe, sometimes people destroy others because they're already broken inside. I never spoke to Karen again. But her downfall taught me and my neighbors a lesson we'll never forget. Stand up for yourself, but don't let bitterness consume you. Strength is good, but kindness is greater. And every time I walk past that mailbox, still standing tall, I smile. Not because I won, but because I refuse to bow down to cruelty. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real victory.